Good afternoon, everybody. This is Chris DeCenzo from Camfour. I hope you're having a great day, and we're going to talk today about increasing your profits with laser-based training. Just a couple administrative things. We are recording this. It will be up on our website in a day or two in case you want to share it with others. But most importantly, if you have any questions you want to ask throughout the presentation, hopefully more of a discussion, in that window, you should be usually on the right side down below where it says questions. You can just type in a question and hit enter, and we'll look at those throughout the presentation and then try to answer them either during or at worst case at the end. So anytime you have questions, please send them along. Let's talk about what we're going to do today. So goals. The goal here has always been to share with you, how do you improve your dealer base, and this place in particular talk about laser-based training products and make your stores more profitable. We've got, so myself, Chris DeCenzo, the president of Camfour, Hill Country Wholesale, been here a little over a year, been enjoying the good ride we've been having. And I've used a bunch of not only the laser ammo, but some of the other laser training systems. It has helped my practice. It really hasn't helped my competitive shooting much, but that's just me. We also have Shen with us. Shen, you there?
Yes, I am.
Why don't you tell them a little about you?
First of all, I hope that everybody is safe and healthy. My name is Chen Shoshadi, and as you can hear from my accent and from my name, I'm Israeli. I'm the VP Sales on Business Development of Laser Ammo. Laser Ammo is a worldwide leader of laser-based firearm training technologies. We actually started about 12 years ago with my partner. He was an IDF marksman and firearm trainer, and after that he became an engineer, and he came up with the idea of using technologies in order to train at home as much as you can, and he came up with the lasers. And of course, 12 years later, we have an office in Israel, an office in New York, a large office in Europe, another R&D center in Texas, and law enforcement government sales out of Kansas. So I'm happy to be here and to introduce you to the laser-based training technologies for firearms training.
Thanks, Shannon. And hopefully, we're going to have a little more of a discussion rather than a presentation. And again, with any questions, we'll try to address them as we go. The general agenda, we're going to talk about, what are the dry fire training options. We'll then dig in a little bit to laser ammo, what are the products there, and then, how would you get started if you as a dealer want to sell these in your store. Give you a little sense on who's listening in today. The list includes mostly the owners, general managers, VPs, and some general managers of most of our dealers. Ranging from Massachusetts to California, Florida, Idaho. We've covered, I think, most of the United States today. So that's it. Let's talk about the current situation. Where do I start, right? 220 was kind of a crazy, a lot of buying. The pandemic's kicked in. People are buying guns and ammo like it's going out of style. We've all had some great years or a great year. Ammunition, is the big challenge now. It's really not available, or if it is, you're paying a very high price on it. Because of COVID, some of the ranges are reducing, what they're allowed to shoot, the capacities, what distance you can shoot at, even outdoor side. I know our gun club, we've set up blockers of some sort, so people are 6 feet apart on the outdoor range. I typed this no end in sight. This is before yesterday. Yesterday's kind of, I guess, confirming this may go on, unfortunately, for a while. So what does that do? What does that leave you, right? I mean, kind of setting up the situation. If we're not going to have ammo and it's maybe hard to practice, what do you do? And that's what we're going to, again, talk a little about, dry fire training and how would that work. So, Shem, why don't you tell us about the advantages of dry fire training?
Okay, so first of all, I'm sure that most of you, if not all of you, are dry firing. All of you knows a lot of the advantages when you're using that. And I have to say that's part of our discussion today, that you'll see that dry fire, we're trying to take the dry out of the dry fire, and we're trying to make it better and funner, and even with recoil. So maybe it's not just dry fire. So the first advantage, of course, it's safe. You don't use real live bullets. You can use it at home or anywhere you are, hotels, in the range, or anywhere else, office, department. It saves a lot of money, especially now on ammunition and range cost. You can train anytime, anywhere, as we said before. One of my guys telling me that 5 minutes before he's going to sleep, he's just putting a laser pet and a laser and training 5 minutes just to make sure before he's going to bed and before he's putting the gun in the safe, so he knows that the gun is clean and ready to go. One main thing is the training drills. You can do so much with firearms, with dry fire training, from tactical training, combat type training, judgmental, force on force, basic training, marksmanship, things that not necessarily you can do with live ammo. You can develop and maintain your shooting skills. As you know, shooting skills, perish. Not everyone can go to the range, especially now in this year when we have COVID, or when it's winter time. So you want to continue practice, and you want to continue practice even 10 minutes a day or whatever you can in order to become better. You don't need range equipment. You don't need your ears, your eyes, big bags, cleaning the gun, and everything else. And then best of all, it's fun, it's entertainment, and it's safe. You can train with friends, you can train with the family. We came up with some social media videos that how you can train with kids at home, and a lot of our dealers are building like entertainment to have it more fun and engaging than anything else.
I mean, I'll add, I'm a competitive shooter. I try to be a competitive shooter. And anything you hear and you read, it's dry fire, and most of the champions that I listen to, a lot of the podcasts will tell you dry fire, dry fire, dry fire. And again, but it's just getting tools. I personally get kind of bored with tools depending on what they are. So I know it's a good use of dry fire for practice. Now the question is like, what are the options, right? So Shen, you did a great job kind of outlining, some of the options. Why don't you just go through these, so again, we're talking to the audience now about, what are the options of laser or dry fire. So why don't you explain this?
Yeah. So when people calling me and ask me about how do I start dry firing, I'm usually, dividing it to two. The first thing is which platform of firearm you want to use. You want to use your own gun? Do you want to use recoil-enabled guns, training guns, whatever it is? And then we're speaking about what are you going to shoot at? So when we're speaking about your own guns and the lasers and firearms that you use, we have the traditional dry fire. We all know it. People can put like a coin on the pistol and pull the trigger. You're working on your flinching, on your movement, steady hands, and so on. It's great. There's no additional cost for it. You can do it anytime. The disadvantage of that one, it's become boring, and second, you don't really get the feedback of where you hit, and it's very limited in the training. We used to do it in the military 30 years ago, just shouting fire, fire, fire when we were running, towards the target, but not much more than that. Then we came up with the blue guns, still low cost, safe of course, but you can do only tactical training like holstering and things like that. It's not really something that a lot of people bought it in order to use it at home. Cannot do even basic training with that. Next evolution was the laser. There was a company by the name of Beamheat. It's an Israeli company, started about 30 years ago. It came up with a laser that you're putting in your barrel. And it's sold usually mainly for law enforcement and military. The idea of having a laser inside your own gun gives you the ability to use, first of all, your own gun, your own sight, your own trigger, your own holster, get familiar with your own gun. It's safe because you cannot load a live round if you're using a cartridge inside the chamber. You can do all of the basic drills. The downside is that you can do only first shot only because you need to rack the slide in most of the cases, unless we're speaking about a double action. So you can work on your stance, holstering, trigger pull, sight alignment, marksmanship, breath control, all of those kind of things. The only thing that you cannot do is the follow through, is the second shot. It's the tactical training of moving between different targets and so on. It's great because you can work with electronic targets, with simulators. You can see where you hit. You have a full indication where a bullet would have hit. So now you're getting way more feedback on your fire, on your dry fire training. Next evolution was the training gun, because people didn't want just to rock the slide every time. Then there came the certs. Laser light came with a gun by themselves. We have a gun like that. It's a training gun. It's not a real gun, but you can do a lot of tactical training with that. Because it's not a real gun, you don't need a license or anything like that. You can use it and leave it in the store, in your classroom, or anywhere else. It still works with electronic targets and simulators. The downside, of course, it's not your real gun. It's not your own sight and your own holster and so on and so forth. Next generation from that, a lot of people ask us, they said, listen, it's great to use my own gun or to use training guns, but we want a little bit more realistic training. First thing I'm telling them, you want really realistic training, go to the range and shoot live. But the best next thing that we came up with was recoil-enabled firearms. And what they are, it's a converted airsoft to use lasers. The idea behind it, it's realistic. You can do all of the advanced tactical drills, fast shooting. If Chris spoke before about competition training, so now you can run between different drills, between different targets, and so on and shoot. It's much more live. It's fun. You're getting the sound and everything else. It's the same weight and feel of your real gun. I don't know if any one of you guys used airsoft before, but you can use it with BBs outdoors or with lasers inside, and it fits your holster. It's licensed by the same company if it's a Glock or Zig or anything else. And it's saving a lot of money on ammunition, because today the cost is about $10, $12 to about 2,500 rounds when you're using those recoil guns. And of course works with all of the electronic targets and simulators, so you can get a full and immediate feedback when you're training. Next evolution is companies like Coolfire and Dvorak, which you have a conversion for your real firearms. Right? A lot of people saying, yeah, airsoft is great, it's fun, but we want to use our own guns. Now we don't sell it, but we have good companies like Coolfire, or the higher brand is Dvorak, that you can use your own firearms with a conversion kit and a CO2 in order to use with realistic training. And of course, the closest thing to a live range when you're shooting live ammo is your blanks, UTMs, simunitions, and so on. The disadvantage of that, although you can do force on force and you can do a lot of different things, disadvantage is just the cost, because the cost of a UTM or simunition round is at least as a regular ammunition, if not higher than that, usually. And again, at the end of the day, when you can go to the range, all of the different dry fire options doesn't come to replace live ammo. It comes to build your training habits, your techniques. It comes to become better shooter when you're going to the range. Okay, and in this one, we're speaking about the targets and the softwares. We spoke about the different firearms that you can use. Now we're speaking about what are you going to shoot at, and that's very important. So at the beginning, a lot of people use paper targets. When I'm saying beginning, when we started 12 years ago, we had a laser, and people just used a reflective target or a paper target. It's great, doesn't cost anything. You can shoot on anything. The big advantage is that you can see your flinching, you can see your movement, you can see where you hit. The disadvantage is you cannot have a short timer, or you cannot get a lot of the feedbacks that you have with the other products. Then there were some apps evolved. I'm sure that you know some of them. Working with your cell phone, everyone has a cell phone today, so there are some apps for firearms training. Great thing, great idea. I think that the disadvantage, and most of them are either free or relatively very cheap, which is great. The disadvantage of using those apps is just that the cell phones, as much as we rely on them, the processor and the camera and so on is not as far as your computer, laptop or regular computer that you're using. So it's not as fast in order to see it. It cannot give you the ability to print and to follow your training and a lot of different things that you can do with the training softwares, which is the next evolution, like the LASR training software, which in my opinion at least, is the best one in the market today. You have Shoot-Off, you have a lot of other ones. I think that the LSR is the best one. This one already uses a computer, using a webcam. Same idea as the cell phone apps, but it gives you the ability to follow on your training, to have a lot of different trainees working with that. You can print your training, you can use different targets, you can use up to 9 different targets at the same time, and so on. Great training tool, not expensive, relatively not expensive, you can use it anywhere. The disadvantage, or I don't know if it's a disadvantage, but the idea is that you do need to use, of course, a computer. You need to be with a room with no sunlight, and you need to prepare for a good training session. The best next thing comes up is a reactive electronic target. You have it from Laser Light, you have it from us, some other new competitors came into the market now. And the great idea about the electronic target is you don't need a computer. You can do it. Some of them you can use outdoors, some not. You can use them in order to work with your marksmanship, with tactical training, a lot of different drills that you can use them. You can use them just for 5 minutes, as I said at the beginning of the conversation, turning on the target, 5 minutes of training, and then you can go to bed. You can put it on your kitchen table or in the store, and so on. Give immediate feedback. Great training tool to use. And then the best thing today in the market and the closest thing to a range, and sometimes even better than a live range in a lot of different options, is the simulator. I'm sure that a lot of you used FATS system in the time. If you are law enforcement or military, today you have the laser shot, the TI training, Milos, Virtuas, and so on. And of course, the smokeless range that we promote. The idea behind the simulator is, although you need to use a computer or a projector, but now you have a live 12, 14 feet range that you can have full videos and shoot, no shoot situations. And you can use it as a Simco course for an NRA trainer. You can use it with recoil guns, dry fire guns. I actually shot in a simulator in Long Island where I am with live fire as well. So you have those options as well. It's fun. It's entertaining. You can do competition shooting. It's safe. It's the best thing today that you can do, except from, of course, going to the range and shoot live ammo, in order to train at your home, in your store, and anywhere else.
Hey, Shen, you said you did some live fire in Long Island? I didn't know they had guns in New York.
Believe it or not, we do have one.
Okay, go.
Yes, we do. And of course, the last thing is the going to the range. Yeah.
So you've outlined, and the thought here is let's outline, what are the firearm options you have in addition to, say, target and software options. And as I'm looking at this, Shen, we forgot to add the plastic bottle as a target option, which is what I use with my daughter in the basement with my airsoft guns. We have little competitions on who does the dishes and who's going to cut the grass. Needless to say, I do pretty well. But let's ask now. So one of the things we like to do from an audience perspective is to understand what's your thoughts. What are you using? What are you not using? So we're going to launch a survey, a poll that they call it, and I'd like you to basically you can click on multiple answers. But what are you using? Where are you using laser-based technologies for your training? So you're using them, let's say, for personal training, using it to sell some firearms. As you see this, I think it's launched. Yep. Just go and click on it and tell us what you're using. Is it classroom training? Are you doing any simulated range training? Yeah, surveys up there. Or you're not using it at all. So if you'd go in and you start just check the one or more, you can select multiple things if you're not using it or if you're using it in certain situations. So the question is, where might you be using laser-based training? Again, personal would be on your own, or at the store selling firearms, maybe it's the classroom training, a simulated range. Yeah, we're getting a lot of group here, a lot of responses now, and many of them, ironically, Shen, have not used laser-based training technologies. I wonder why they're listening to this webinar today.
So that's the reason why they are listening to the webinar, to learn more.
That is exactly probably why they're listening. We assumed we'd get a high percentage on that. So, Oh, we got a lot of votes in here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this in like 5 seconds and then share that with everybody to see, and you basically know what your audience is looking like too. So I'm going to do that right now. And you'll see close and share. And I believe everyone can see the results. Yes, so you can see 67% are not using laser-based training technologies at all. That's I'm guessing why they're here. But there are a bunch, almost 30% using classroom, some doing personal training, some selling, and some of the simulated range. So, Shem, we've got most of them as we expected. They're not using it, which is probably why they're listening, but some are. So those that go ahead.
No, I'm happy to see that at least 14% using it by themselves as a personal training and understand the value of it, of course, and the classroom training. That's great.
Definitely. And for those that have been using it, if you want to throw a question in there or a statement as to what you're using and how it's worked out, and those that are using it in the store, maybe looking to learn how to do more, give us a little chat. I'm going to hide this now, so let's now move on. And we're going to do this. We're going to get into some video. And I'm going to do this.
This video shows how fun and nice and interesting it can be just to, we're taking the dry out of the dry fire.
Lost the audio. I lost the audio here for a second. I don't know why. Oh. Sorry, Shen, we're having a little technical difficulties here.
Sorry about that.
Shen, I'm not getting any audio. Audio, can you hear it?
I know, I cannot hear it. But
yeah, I apologize to those people. We had some really cool soundtracks. It's probably something I did on the audio side.
But at least it shows, how you're using it and so on and the benefit.
You want to sing while we're going through this? Maybe you can give a little audio to it.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah. So why don't you explain? He's using the. Why don't you explain it while we're going through it?
Can everybody hear us?
They can hear you. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So what you can see here, this is the ATLAP. It's a training tool, training pistol, as we spoke about it before. You have a lot of different adapters that you can use it with shotguns. anything from 380 up to 40 millimeter grenade launchers. Actually, we have spiders, so you can use it on UTMs and you can use it on munitions as well, or regular airsoft. This is the laser kit, so it comes with a lot of different adapters. This is a Glock with a reset trigger, so you can actually convert your Glock to shoot continuous shooting. Those are one of our advanced electronic targets, the laser pet, used a lot in military, law enforcement, and of course, one of our best sellers for end users.
Is this your basement?
No, this is actually the guy that you see here, Colin. He was Top Shot in season 4, History Channel Top Shot. He's a 24 years veteran law enforcement, and he's our managing our law enforcement and government sales.
Oh,
great guy. Out of Kansas, yeah.
Well, sorry about the audio, people. You had to listen to Shen, but that it's probably actually better than just that theme music that was going on. So let's talk now about laser ammo. Let's get into some of the products. I think, Shen, you can talk about the different categories, and then we'll talk about, how this can help you as a dealer.
Yeah, I will not get into the nitty-gritty in every product, of course, but what we wanted to show here is that if we spoke about all of the different options of firearm platform and all of the different options of what I'm going to shoot at, so what makes us unique than every other company today is that we actually offer everything. We offer using your own firearm, using training guns, using recoil guns, different electronic targets. We have software, like, of course, the simulator, and we do sell the LASR software as well. As I said, I think that is the best one over there. In the future, we're going to have tactical vests for force on force and a lot of other things as well. A lot of great things are coming. So you can see that we are in the gap of everything between you putting your own coin on your barrel to see if you can flinch, up to going to a live range. We offer today. So
is that like the big benefit, Shen, is that you have these different options from? I mean, you've got just the laser you can put inside the barrel, all the way up to the simulator range and everything in between, because you've got, as you were showing, the spectrum of uses of firearms for dry fire. You've got all those or most of those.
We have most of those, but you know what? I would say even all of them.
Okay.
That you have, except from the blue gun, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
And then on the target side, again, you've got all the targets. I mean, not necessarily paper, because paper is kind of standard, but when you get into electronic targets, reactive targets, and ranges or simulators, you've got all that also.
Yes, and believe it or not, with every laser that we sell, we give as a free upgrade for the lasers themselves reflective targets. We spoke about the paper target as well. So every laser comes with reflective targets automatically. Those are targets that you can see here. It's reactive targets. They are electronic targets. One of them is more for marksmanship and speed, the laser pet, so you can work on your accuracy. The other one is more tactical training, moving, transitional shoot, no-shoot situations, and things like that. And yes, we have 12 years of experience with that. We're building, our catalog is very big. And more than everything, all of our team is shooters, came up from law enforcement and military. We're building it for shooters. We're building it because we know our audience, and for firearms training, working very closely with the NRA, with the UCCA, well-armed women, and so on. So we understand the market both in Israel and Europe and in the US. And there are huge differences between those markets, believe it or not. And we're trying to cater for everybody.
So we, by design, we're not going to go into the products as much here, in fact, at all. But there is a question then that someone's asking is, so how do you compare or contrast what you're offering to the other, systems you mentioned earlier?
So in the market today, if we'll talk about the lasers, we'll start with the lasers, we'll move to the simulators, if you like. We were the first to come with lasers that you can put in the chamber. If you're speaking about quality, first of all, we have the patent. Everybody else made in China, usually buying it on Alibaba and reselling it here with their name on it. And if you look at the quality of the product itself, stainless steel, glass lens, rated for 2,000 hours, which is about, I don't know, 2 million shots. We warranty it for a full year of 5,000 shots, the caps for it. We have a sleeping mode in it, so the battery will last for a long time. We have the US Secure safety system. It comes in a beautiful carrying case and so on. We have a full adapter suite, so you don't need to buy a lot of different lasers for every caliber. You just adapt it for different lasers, for different calibers. So you can take the same 9 millimeter, use it on a 40, 45, 10 millimeter, 12 gauge, 20 gauge, and so on and so forth. You can use it in all of your different firearms, from a semi-auto, revolver, shotgun, rifle, and so on. When we're speaking about the electronic targets, we offer two different ones. There are today the laser light, a great electronic target. You have a few other ones, truth is I don't know them so well, of people that came up with some electronic targets. Some of them are very nice and great. Some of them are people that are good, electronic engineers that came up with an idea and doing it from home. But as far as I know, from electronic targets, you have us and the laser light that today is under Crimson Trace selling them. And on the simulator, and that's a big differentiate. You have a lot of very good companies in the market today. As I said before, the Laser Shot, TI Training, Milo, all of them are great simulators, but they were all built for the military use, for the law enforcement use. They are starting at $10,000, $15,000. That's the lower end. They're usually somewhere around $50,000 and up. And we cater for the end user. We cater for the dealer, for the NRA trainer. So our simulator starts at $500. We believe that everyone has today at home, a computer, a projector. We don't need to sell it. It comes in a box, and you set it up in a few minutes. And I believe that as a simulator like that, we are the only one in the market today comparing to all of the other big brands in the market.
Okay. So let's talk about, how they can sell this and how this is going to improve their sales.
So we will speak, in a different slide about how you can sell it and what do you need in order to sell it, because there are a lot of challenges as well. But the added value to improve your sales, the way that we see it with a lot of other dealers that we have, is the first and foremost, a lot of the dealers telling us, we're buying your product because we want to sell more guns. And the idea is, if someone coming to your store and now is not sure if he wants to buy a Glock 17 or an M&P or whatever it is, by just adding a laser and an electronic target, now he can test the new gun in your store, right? He can hold it in his hand, he can rack the slide, he can shoot on the target and see if he hit it. From our experience, or from our dealer experience, what we found is that when a woman trying to do that, the first time that she shot, if she hits the target, she said, that's my lucky gun, that's the one that I'll buy. When a man buying the gun, he said, first time it probably was luck. I don't want to, I'll try it again. Second time we said, that might be a good gun. And the third time, we will say, okay, I'll buy this gun. When they're using that, adding a laser or an electronic target or both is just an added value for them, especially if they're, newbies and looking for training at home. And of course, for you to get some a great return on your investment on that. Second thing is that it's a gun range replacement. Again, it's not a replacing for range, but a lot of our dealers don't have the ability to have a range in the store, or the nearest range is far away. So now you can build a digital range in your store. Some of our dealers charging training on that, or charging time on the range. Some of the dealers charging magazines, so you fill up gas on every magazine, and $5 a magazine or $4 a magazine, and now you're selling those magazines while people are training. Some are doing one-on-one training on this range, and some it's more for fun and entertainment for the family to come over. I had a guy that told me, a dealer that told me that they're doing like a Tupperware event in their store after dark, after they close, and they bringing some of their clients in, and then they're doing competitions, they're doing a lot of different things while they're selling more product as well. Of course, today with the high cost and shortage of ammo, that's everybody is looking for a way to replace that, and what can they do in order to reduce the cost of ammo, especially new shooters. But today everybody is doing it, competition shooters and so on. The way that you will be perceived when you're using simulators, when you're using lasers, when someone is coming to your store and now we can check the different guns with the lasers, you'll have an edge on the store next to you that doesn't do it, right? You're perceived as more high-tech, more quality store, better than the next store because now we can test it in your space. Entertainment. Some of our dealers, we'll talk about a few of them later even, build it around entertainment, bringing families in and so on, either selling time on a simulator, on reactive targets, and so on in their store. Some of them building just a full entertainment location. We have a dealer that's called a whiskey shop. People are coming to drink and to use firearms in order to train with those firearms. There is a big location out of Phoenix, Arizona. It's called Modern Rounds. Look at them. They're not using our simulators. They're using Virtuas and so on. But think about Dave & Buster's, that you're going to have fun in bowling. Is the same thing. You're going to have fun with your family, to drink, to eat with your friends, and at the same time shoot at simulators. So that's up and coming today. And of course, NRA, USCCA certification courses. If you do offer certification courses or NRA courses using a simulators, using reactive targets, you can train with your people, with your trainees in your store. It's built to be like a Simco course with the NRA. Another great additional sales or additional income to your store. Okay,
so
let's think about
a couple success stories because we're getting close on time. So give us some overview of where people have used this and the success they've had. How's that?
Okay, you'll see it a little bit later. If you want to read it, I'll do it shortly. As I tried to say before, we have some trainers. We have a lot of NRA trainers. Matt Barquette is one of our newest. He wrote a book about dry fire training. He's a big advocate for dry fire training. He's an NRA trainer. He used our products for a long time. He became a dealer. This is a picture actually from one of the trainings that he's doing. And while he's doing training, he's selling our products over there. Entertainment, we have a lot of new dealers that building entertainment centers. Decision Tactical over there, for example, out of Florida. Right now, I believe they have 7 or 8 different simulators in the rooms, but they're looking to have 60 and 70 at the end, so you can run between different rooms and using it as a full virtual range over there. Dealers, Anytime Ammo out of New York. He's working with Dark Sporting Goods over there, using our products in a trailer, going between different locations. You have a website that's called Anytime Ammo, doing very well with our product. Key Largo Pawn Shop in Key Largo, Florida, just opened with us in the middle of COVID. They have 2 big simulators in a store in order for people to come over and do some training. We have many other ones. I just wanted to mention a few, so you'll see the differences because each one is trying to do a little bit different way in order to use the product and sell more guns or doing just training and so on.
I've got some comments on the in the question area. You know, how people are using guns, simulators to teach, grip and trigger reset in some of their classes. They sell handguns, mostly tactical guns and gear. This is something that would be very helpful for them. Someone said that there are two types of Umarex conversions. Does a conversion kit have recoil? Do you know anything about the? This is the Umarex.
Yes,
Does the Umarex have it?
yes, our recoil-enabled training guns for Glock. We have the 19 and the 17 made by Umarex, is licensed by Glock. They have a few different ones. We're selling one of those options, Gen 3 and Gen 4, but they have some other ones as well. But we're working very closely with Umarex.
So let's talk about how they can start selling this in their store. How would you, this is the outline, I think, of what you would suggest they do to get started. Why don't you go through that?
What we are talking here is things that we've heard from a lot of other dealers. So first of all, there is a challenge here, right? Because selling dry fire system, it's a laser that starts from about $100, or a laser in a target around $200, and of course up to a simulator that if you buy the whole suite can go easy to around $4,000. And if a customer comes to the store and he doesn't know anything about it, he just want to buy a gun because, I don't know, his friend have a gun or he doesn't feel safe, he want to buy a gun and he thinking how to train with it. The first thing that, of course, he's thinking about it is, okay, I want to go to the range, but there's no ammo or it's very expensive, and so on. So how do I sell all of those dry fire tools that you have right now? The first and foremost, and that I'm saying to every dealer that we have, you need to use it. Your sales team need to use it. You need to understand what it is, because there are a lot of questions that if you are not using it, you will not know. What's the difference between red and IR lasers? Why do I need to use this electronic target and not the other? What's the difference between using this laser or different laser or whatever it is? You need to use it. I'll give a short story. We had a dealer in Chicago. They closed. It's called the I Love My Glock, if anyone knows them. He started to sell a product, and he ordered about $1,500 every week. The first time he used it, a week later, another $1,500, another $1,500. I'm looking at his website. He didn't even add it in his website. And I'm calling in, I'm asking him, I'm telling him, Eddie, how do you sell those items if you don't even have them on your website? You didn't make any videos, you didn't do anything. He said, Chen, I'm using it for myself in the store. All of my team so enjoying it, and we're doing competition. So anyone that's coming to the store, joining us our competition and buy one. So I don't even have the time to add it to the website in order to sell it later. We offer Zoom calls. Each one of you that want to have a private Zoom to go over the product, to teach the salespeople and so on, we can work with you guys, with all of the salespeople, to teach and to explain about all of the products, to answer all of the questions that you have. With some of our packages, we offer demo units for your store. So you can demo it in your store, if it's an electronic target, a laser, a simulator, and so on, to demo in your store. Products, as I said, demonstration in the shop, have fun with it, train with it, use it so people can come and use it as well. And only when you have it in your own hand, you understand how great it is to train with it and how much money it saves you on ammo and how to train with it. It's just such a big difference, but you have to have it in your own hand. You don't know how many times I see people thinking about it as a game or something, and only when they use it, you see their eyes open and say, wow, I didn't understand that I cannot hit a target from, 10 yards. I thought that I'm better than that. And I really need to train in order to become better. And after 3-4 minutes that we're working with him on training, he sees how better he becomes. And then he's buying the product.
Let me interrupt you for a second, Chen, because I want to emphasize that top bullet of, the sales team needing to, understand the product and maybe if not use it, right? This isn't just another firearm or ammo, which, most of the sales team knows. It's different brand, different caliber, something like that. This is a different product, right? And it takes a little learning to understand, how do you engage the consumer to say, hey, do you train? Do you want to train? How would you train? Well, let me show you some options you have. I'm assuming, Shen, but I'll probably state it, that if dealers don't, learn what this is and learn how to sell it, it won't be successful, right? It's not going to sell itself. People don't walk in the door and
Exactly.
say, "I want a Glock 19," and oh, sure, I got 10 of these. Here you go. Right? They don't walk in the door and say, "Hey, I want a laser ammo training or a dry fire training system," necessarily. Correct?
I agree. Some of them will because they saw ads or whatever it is, but I totally agree with you. If you're putting it on, on the wall with no explanation, with no banner, with no video, people will not use it. They will not understand why they need to spend $200 on that instead of spending $200 on more ammunition, right?
Right.
But when they will have it in their hand or when they will see you using it, their eyes will light up. Then they will want to have them.
Got
People
it.
that are looking for that, they will look for that online. They will buy on Amazon, right? They will look for
Yep.
that. They will read articles. They will see videos and so on. They will buy it online today. But when they're coming to the store, they are not necessarily looking for something like that. But
But
when
I
they
but
use
I
it,
think yeah, I
they
think
still
about back
use
to the
it.
situation that we're dealing with right now, right? Where you've got I don't know whatever the number is, 6, 7, 8 million new shooters that can't get ammo, and I know I've got a lot of my friends that are now better friends because they've got their licenses and they're buying guns, but they can't get into some of the gun clubs because they're full. And I'm saying to them, hey, this dry fire is one way to practice, sight alignment, trigger control, without because they can't get to a range or they can't get ammo, right? So this to me would be a great time for dealers to sell some basic products like this because people don't have an option. I mean, I've got a guy texting me today because our gun club just opened up 55 spots on the wait list and he's on number 125. He's like, Chris, what do I do? What other clubs can I go to? And I'm like, well, let's talk about dry fire. I mean, that's some of the basics that people need to learn that saves, use this rather than ammo. So anyway,
Of
just
course, get
very preaching to the
familiar with
choir.
your own gun. You just bought a new gun. Get familiar with your own gun.
Exactly,
Wrap
right?
the slide. See how it works. Try to pull the trigger. Try to see if you're hitting something. Even no recoil, no nothing. Learn your gun. Work on different malfunctions and things like that with your gun. See what you're doing then. Work on magazine changes. And so all of those kind of things you can do at home by yourself or with the trainer or with your family while you're using all of those products, right?
So I think the yes,
Uh,
and the emphasis here, right, is that the big bullet is that the dealer needs to learn what this is and how to sell it. Shen and Camfour and Hill Country sales reps will help you as needed. Shen on the website on the laser ammo website. Actually, I was very impressed. There's a lot of good videos there on how to do training. You don't think about what you want to train, but you've got some great videos online that people can go to and show how to use the product for different training sessions, right, or scenarios. And then
Yeah,
the
we
rest
have
of this,
the Laser Ammo Academy as well that
exactly
people can
right.
get in. Hmm.
And then digital range time banners, videos. I mean, it's all support marketing stuff. But I think the key, the point of the slide is the dealer has to invest time besides the money in making this successful, right?
Yes. Yes,
So let's
and
talk
we're
about.
speaking about marketing for a little bit. We supply banners for dealers. We supply videos. We supply a lot of those things to make it easier for you guys. We can just add you to our website as Find Our Dealer so people can go to you when they're looking for someone close to try it out. We have a lot of calls that we're getting and saying, guys, I want to buy one, but I want to use it. I want to see if it's good for me. Where can I find it? And so on. So that's another thing for you as well. Make special events. I spoke about it before, like a Tupperware parties and so on, after work or so on, in order, make it fun for your customers. Uh, Ask the customers, to bring family and so on, so they can train on the simulator, so they can spend more time in the store while there's, one of the parents buying something, the other ones are training. Those are the feedback that we're getting from a lot of our dealers.
That's great. So let's talk now about how's Camfour and Hill Country going to help the dealer that's here. Well, here's what we'll call our getting started special. And I'll eventually let Shen explain the packages, but we've got 3 packages. There's kind of a basic, intermediate, and platinum. And there's some special pricing that we have through the end of January. And if you get into the intermediate or platinum package, we provide 2-month dating to help you get that into the store and make it successful. So, Shannon, why don't you give a quick overview? What are the differences between the three packages?
So we try to build those packages to have the first one, the basic one, is more for what we spoke before, for people to sell more firearms. So it's not including a simulator. You don't need to buy a computer if you don't have a space, if you have a small location and so on. Just use some electronic targets and lasers in order to sell more firearms, and on the way to sell an electronic target or a laser and so on, some of our products. The intermediate package is for a dealer that have training classes, right? He wants a simulator, so it's including one of our firearm training simulator inside. It's including some of the electronic targets and some of the lasers, so you can use it in classes and sell it for your trainees and so on. And of course, the platinum one, including everything and more of it, it's for someone that has either a few stores or a big store. You want to have a digital range, it has classes, or you want to have an entertainment center inside the store. We had a customer, I believe actually from one of your customers in the past, that told me that he has a few stores and mainly in shopping malls. So you wanted things like that. This is a good example for it. And as you can see, for all of you guys, we'll give the Zoom meeting to explain the free flyers, banners. We have free products coming in the intermediate, and in the platinum, you're even getting a free simulator with your order on top of everything else.
Shen, there's a question about margin. What kind of gross margin should they be looking at?
If you see the numbers here, you have the dealer cost and the MSRP. We're speaking about over 40% of your ROI. We usually give 5% MAP, so you cannot go below 5% of the MSRP. So it goes a little bit below the 40% if we're speaking about MAP versus MSRP. But as I think that we calculated is 41% ROI between MSRP to dealer cost. So you can see that it's much more than what you can get today on ammo or firearms and so on.
Now, and I mean the margin's obviously great, but the question we always get is, do you have anything in stock? Like, where's my guns? Where's my ammo? Nobody has anything in stock. My guess is you have a little more of this in stock than what they might be finding for guns and ammo.
So the answer is yes and no. We do have all of the lasers in stocks and electronic targets and so on. On the recoil-enabled guns, for example, we don't have some of them. We don't have. We're trying to stock as much as we can, but like everybody else in this market, we just sold 3 times more than what we expected. I'm happy to say. So some of them are out of stock. Most of them are in stock. Some of them we know that we'll get in the next 2 to 3 weeks. But most of the items we do have. We are short on a few, but most of them we do have, or we'll get in the next month or so. But if you place an order today, even if you'll place the order today, even if we'll ship it in a month, let's say, you'll still get, of course, the Camfour special.
That's
we'll
what
always
I was
honor
That's
that.
Great.
Yes, and another thing, by the way, because we build it as a Camfour trade show instead of the Camfour trade show, we also added the pricing for 2020. Although a lot of the prices changed in 2021, we kept and honored the 2020 pricing for those packages. So it's even today the pricing are a little bit higher than what you see here, but we are keeping that until the end of the month.
Great. Let me ask those listening another poll question, kind of the final one as we get to the end here. After learning about what you've seen here on dry fire training, the options, which ones, would you be most likely to buy? And again, I think there's multiple choice here. So if you can pick an answer, where'd my polls go again? Would you just do the laser-related products? Would you want recoil-related products? A digital range simulator or nothing? Curious based on what you've heard today, what would you more likely buy? So if you just click on one or multiple of those, or all of them, except for the one at the bottom that says none, that would be great, and we can share that with the audience. So you get a sense. Also, what I like about these polls is that others can see what are other dealers doing, um, and are they deciding that they're going to get into this and they're going to choose some laser products, or they're going to not do anything. We've found that these products do very well in situations like this where you can't get ammo, guns are tough to get, and usually this is mostly available. I know Shen's in and out of product, but it is helpful to have this accessory and high margin product. So I see we've got a big percent voting. So I'm going to give about 3 seconds and then, basically share this poll and then kind of wrap up for today. So let me close this out. I'll tell you the good news is nobody said no. So that's showing. So 45% they're going to look at some laser products, some up to the simulators and digital. A good mix of things, Shen. What do you think?
Yeah, very nice.
And I know what we'll do here. I'm going to close this out. But I'll leave this slide up here, which is if you want to learn more, about laser ammo. There's the website. For those that want to learn more, definitely contact your Camfour Hill Country sales rep. If you don't have one for some reason, you can call the 1-800-FIREARM and we'll connect you with somebody here. Again, you got Shen's email there. Is that your home phone number? Your mobile phone number?
No, that's
work,
office.
Right? Okay.
That's office, yeah.
All right. But please reach out with questions. The plan here wasn't to quote unquote sell you on this, but to help you understand the benefits of including laser ammo products as an option to your store. And hopefully you've got some education on this, and you can then decide, hey, this is a good fit. I want to learn more, and that's what this is about. Shen, anything you want to end with as we wrap up?
First of all, I wanted to say thank you. Second, I really, want to push everyone just to use it, even for yourself. Even if you decided not to use to sell it and whatever it is, use it for yourself. See how much better, users you will become, how much you'll enjoy it, and understand the benefits of dry fire training and the technologies around it. If it's ours, if it's someone else's, right now it doesn't matter. All of those products are great. Try it out. Give it to your employees, to your salespeople in order to train. They will be happy. They will use it. They will become a better understanding in the guns and other products that you're selling over there. I think that's just great. I see here we're giving it to our, the new secretary that never held a gun in her life and so on, just to do it in our meeting rooms, and how she learns how to hold the gun and how to use it and so on, even if she never went to the range or didn't even, think to have a gun before. Just a great, great way of, using technology to your own benefit. Don't be afraid of it.
Totally agree.
That's it.
I see some questions. I'll answer. If you attended today, we're going to send you a copy of the whole presentation. Someone's asking about a copy of the price list, so we'll send that out to you. And you'll probably see an email maybe next week with a link to the recording. So if you want to see that again or pass it to your sales team as you get into this, that'll be available. So I'm gonna wrap it up. Shen, thank you very, very much for attending. Everyone listening in, thanks for listening in. I hope everybody is safe and hope everybody is healthy and has a great 2021. So thank you.